So here I am in the garage, and I'm going to be working on getting this engine ready to pull from the frame. Like I said, I'm going to take the cab off the frame and then pull the engine out. Couple things to note: I've never done this before. I've done plenty of other body swaps and engine swaps and things like that, but I've never had a Duramax out of a truck, and I've never pulled this style cab before. I should also note, if I make a mistake, do something on camera that I probably shouldn't have done, and I find later that it wasn't necessary, I'm going to try to go back and let you know. This is probably a really good time to note that GM hoods of this style have a secondary hole. You can see it right there where the hood spring is. The hood is almost vertical for a service position. So that just takes two 13mm nuts, and you can take the screw out and just move the springs to the next hole. Next, I'm going to take the batteries out and, like I said before, start draining some fluids. So I decided I'd take the front bumper off and the front grille as well. My bumper on Norman has been cut. I don't know why. It looks like it's been clearance for bigger tires, but nothing ever else was done to make clearance for bigger tires. So I'm going to take this one and see if I can polish it up. I've got the coolant draining very slow. I have not opened the radiator cap, but instead I've removed the bleeder screw so it just comes out at a controlled pace. I've also labeled any connections that I'll be disconnecting. I've got my mass airflow sensor labeled here, and the AC there. And any engine swap I've ever done, I've never done that, and it's always come together pretty well. But just because I'm getting into a new thing, I might as well label stuff. Okay, so I've removed the main power source for the fuse box from the harness here, and I removed the ECU, the engine plugs, and back there's a lead for the glow plugs. That's on the body side, so that's all over here. Also, the harness, there's a harness that goes underneath here and under the AC system, and plugs into the AC over here, the coolant reservoir, the alternator plug right there, and also the AC plug right here, and a sensor up here for the pressure system. Those have all been disconnected and sorted out, labeled as such, and the coolant is pretty much done draining, and no matter how much prep you give it, you seem to always make a mess. I thought I'd smart it and put a section of Tyvek up in there and kind of hold it in place while I let the plug out, and it still blew all over the place. So it just happens. The inlet and outlet of the turbo have been taped off just to keep debris out, and the heater core lines have been zip tied out of the way and disconnected, and also the coolant tank has been removed, and that gave room for the AC pump to lay over on its side. I am going to try to remove the whole AC system as a whole once the engine is out, once the cab's gone, because I don't have a way to capture the Freon, and I know this system is full, so that's my plan. So far I'm about an hour and a half into this, just for record keeping, and that's including my few minutes of camera time here and there.